Let me start by welcoming in our midst His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Emi Osibanjo, GCON, who is standing in for His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, GCFR. At the special induction program organized by Nigerian Governors Forum for the new and returning governors of the 36 states of the Federation. The Governors Forum has organized the event to support the new governors in developing the essential skill for modern-day governance that will reposition them for their first campaign responsibilities. On this, we find it paramount to also invite leaders with experience on democratic governance from both within and outside the country to share with us the knowledge on the working of governance in the 21st century. I wish to acknowledge the presence of some former governors from the United States and here in Nigeria who have obliged to share with us their vast experience. Mr. Vice President, we have consistently been engaging with you at various events organized by the forum and your capacity as the Chairman, National Economic Council, which from time to time bring together governors of 36 states of the Federation to review the state of economy and adopt measures aimed at addressing challenges and providing direction for its growth. Your Excellency, I thank you on behalf of my colleagues for finding time to grace this all-important event. Equally, I thank His Excellencies, the state governors, for the marvelous opportunity and support you have given me to steer the affairs of our forum from 2015 to date. My stewardship has indeed offered me a remarkable knowledge and experience on issues of governance on a wider spectrum. Together, we have struggled to build a robust and harmonious relationship with the federal government, which help in preventing the hiccups and friction often experienced in the federal system of government such as ours. Particularly, I want to use this opportunity to express our gratitude to Mr. President, who for always carrying the state of the Federation along. Mr. President considers states as critical stakeholders, and he does the best he could to ensure the socio-economic stability of the state. He enormously intervention not only served the state from debilitating economic challenges, but also help in propping up the economy to exit from the recent recession. At a point when Mr. President took over responsibility in May, sometimes in June, recognized that about 27 states were experiencing difficulty in settling their workers' monthly salaries, developing salaries, not developing the infrastructure development. Mr. President intervention through salary bailout from the capital market through the Central Bank of Nigeria, the infrastructure development funds, London Paris Club refund, infrastructure development refund, Anchor Borrowers Program, budget support has significantly served the situation of our states. Even though many of the states have fared well by executing projects, many of which were inaugurated by His Excellency President and his Vice President and other eminent personalities, there is still the need for states to work harder to boost their internally generated revenue, to enable them execute more projects and development and reduce over-dependence on the Federation account as the means of promoting the social well-being of their people. Mr. Vice President, distinguished participants, if we are to put the economy on the right track, and insulate it from the frequent crisis, creating society stemming from the absolute reliance on oil. We must look seriously into the need to diversify the economy by investing the enormous resources in agriculture, mining, industrialization. I appreciate the fact that the current administration has accorded agriculture to top priority by instituting measures that steadily control the importation of foreign rice. This is in addition to the Uncle Boris program, through which the sum of 200 billion naira was expanded. This is unprecedented in the history of agriculture spending in the country. It must, however, be emphasized that those amounts are inadequate if we are to satisfactorily address the issue of food security in the country. We also need to go to the next level by slamming higher import tariff on other agricultural products such as maize, wheat, in order to boost their production in the country and provide raw materials for our local industries. From record, government spent over 2 trillion naira on oil development yearly. I believe if 1/3 of the amount was dedicated to agriculture, industrialization, energy, and mining, the state of the economy will have been different by now. Some agricultural products are even more expensive in the international market than oil. Malaysia, for example, is reaping up a lot from farm oil to boost their foreign exchange and source of revenue for the government. While the commodity is not making any significant contribution to Nigerian foreign exchange, even though the country sourced the seed of palm kernel from Nigeria in the early 70s. Mr. Vice President, distinguished participants, there is no better time for us to pay more serious attention to the issues of diversification than now, when the world is moving away from carbon fuel to biofuel and electric vehicle. It is expected that by 2030, most vehicles in advanced countries will be powered by electricity, which is green-friendly with low carbon emission. When this happens, it will spell doom for our economy if we have not diversified. In the long run, a full diversification of the economy will entail shifting away from reliance on export of commodity, be it oil, gold, or any agricultural product. In today's free-market economy, sustainable growth and genuine development could only be achieved on the basis of industrialization rather than export on primary commodity. It is time to articulate our industrialization policy, ensure improved power supply in order to achieve our goal of industrialization and meet our target of joining the 20 most advanced economy in no distance time. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as some of us are existing as handmen of our various states, let me quickly remind the new and the returning governors that it may not totally be smooth ride. On our part, we made a lot of achievement in infrastructure development and provision of social services because we enjoy the relatively higher price of about $100 to $114 per barrel between 2011 and 2014. However, by 2014, the price of crude oil, which is sadly the main driving force of government expenditure, dropped to $75 to $1 per barrel, and it continued to go down to $38 by first and second quarter of 2016, where some of the states make it difficult for them to pay their basic salaries of their workers. This scenario is a wake-up call for all of you to come and prepare to face these kind of challenges, especially since we are expecting the possibility of another cycle of recession by 2020, and which may last up to the third quarter of 2021. Your good spirit and stewardship will make you contain the situation, should there be one. Also, as member of the National Economic Council, you must work hand in hand to boost the economy in tandem with the global best practices. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. Ours has been a challenging experience of managing state economies that are totally dependent on accrual from the federation account, rather than exploring the viable alternative to run the economy. For most of the states, internally generated revenue are nothing to write home about. You must therefore look inward by boosting your revenue generation, base, and also utilize them effectively for execution of projects that will touch the life of our people. You must not forget the high expectation of our people on us now that the democracy is maturing day in, day out. The challenges of governance and service delivery are more demanding. It is imperative to know that the governance forum under my chairmanship and the National Economic Council, we have been discussing and totally agreeing that the borrowing is never a reliable alternative to solving our economic problem. We must work harder among all the tiers of government to multiply our revenue generation base so that together we change the course of doing government business for the betterment of our people. In so doing, key revenue agencies like Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigerian Customs Service, and other sister agencies must be made to work more effectively, especially now that Mr. President has signed the much-awaited national minimum wage law, pegging the minimum worker salary at 30,000 naira per month. It is also a source of worry to all reasonable observers that in all modern economy, it is the public that drive the government by supporting it through payment of their taxes and when due. In our situation, the reverse is the case. It is very unfortunate that our people have a very negative attitude to payment of taxes in full, including the corporate agencies. My take on this, that as a country with over 200 million people, our individual and collective contribution in ensuring prompt payment of taxes can help the government to achieve all its objective. For us to achieve this, the responsibilities, we have to strengthen our tax laws and to make them very effective in our task of building better Nigeria. If necessary measures are put in place to provide a working system, I am certain that at the end of the day, we are going to succeed in tackling unemployment, reducing poverty, ensuring food security and disease control, as well as building a nation with the robust economy. It is only by doing so we can but take to our children and grandchildren a country to be proud of. On the political front, let me acknowledge the passion of effort of the international communities, particularly countries with well-developed political system and democracy, for their support in development of a strong political system and democracy in Nigeria. It should, however, be understood that despite our 59 years of independence, we only have a 20 years history of uninterrupted democracy experience. Nigeria still has a relatively nascent democracy that require more nourishment and gradual process to develop. The political leaders need to be supported to act within their powers rather than being pushed to run faster than their feet. Our institution need to be more strengthened. We are hopeful that our democracy will gradually work from strength to strength, and in the near future, most advanced democracy have a remarkable history of democracy experience spanning over hundreds of years before attaining the current inviolable democratic credentials. We are all aware that corruption hampers economic development. It is one of the serious problems bedeling our economy, which need to be seriously addressed. In my personal opinion, we need to revisit our approach to fighting corruption. There is need for proactiveness in our approach. We must fight all incentives to corruption by waging the war through the bottom-top approach. Attention should equally be focused on all strata of the society if we are to win the war against the scourge. So all the opportunities and escape route of the people at all levels of the society, ranging from the civil servant, politicians, and the corporate bodies, must be blocked so that the war will leave no stone unturned or square scarecrow. In conclusion, as we gather here to brainstorm on key governance and management skills that will enable the incoming governors to transit from campaign to managing the process of governance, it is my hope that the determination I have seen in you will ultimately reflect on how you will engage the business of governance by the time you assume office. Finally, I would like to welcome once again the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the new and returning governors, our invited guests from both within and outside Nigeria to this historic event. I wish you fruitful interaction that will benefit your state and Nigeria as a whole. I pray that Almighty God will be your strength, will be your source of strength in driving your respective states to the greater height. Thank you and God bless.
Former Governor of New Mexico.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, wherever we are now, shall we stand